Erin coming to you from the LA Convention Center at IT Expo West 2010, day 3 of IT Expo, and I'm joined now with Ian Gomm, VP of Sales and Marketing at Citel. Welcome, Ian.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for joining us. So tell us the latest on your VoIP migration device.
Well, our Portico TVA, which has been around for a few years, but we've been refining it quite a bit over the last couple of years. It enables people to use their legacy telephones and move over to a VoIP environment. So they can basically get away without the need to change any of their cabling infrastructure. Most people do a rip and replace and basically have to recable their buildings, their campuses. They've got to put in power over Ethernet switches. They've got to put other Ethernet switches in, and it all costs money. And although there's a lot of savings and benefits to move into VoIP, a lot of people are being deterred because of those costs. And that's where our device comes into play.
Okay. You recently did a webinar with TMC, and that was on legacy handsets in a VoIP environment. So can you tell us a little bit about what came out of that webinar?
Yeah, we were pleasantly surprised by the response. You know, we found out with some of the poll questions we put in that the cost is a major impact. Not that we didn't know that before, but it's always nice to hear it from the end users. And
Sure.
you know, with cost being such an issue these days, we were able to explain to people why with our device you can save up to 65% on the cost of migration. It means you don't have to wait 5 to 7 years doing everything that needs to be done to move to VoIP. You can get the benefits today for a significantly lower cost. And you know, we had a lot of questions from people. We're currently blogging answers and following up with people, but the interesting thing we got from it all was that the people that were logged on at the beginning, they stayed right to the end. I mean, usually, you know, we've done some of these things, and, you know, I mean, I've attended a lot of webinars myself, and halfway through I'm logging off.
Right.
95% of the people who started the webinar were there at the end.
Wow, that's incredible.
And that was really, it was important to us, you know. It's great having a wonderful turnout, but if people leave halfway through, you don't know whether you've really had an impact or not. And the way the webinar was structured, it really had a great benefit to us.
That's great to hear. And now you guys are making a big announcement with NET, so tell us about that.
Well, we obviously with our process, with our device, it has to be interoperability tested with IP-PBXs and IP-PBX platforms. And we've had a lot of interest over the last year or so from people who want to move to Microsoft OCS. You know, Microsoft OCS was basically there for soft phones. They finally allowed some analog phones and gateways to allow analog phones to connect. But there was always the inability to use your existing legacy phones with OCS. And we did some work with some companies, but NET acquired a device called SmartSIP. And by working with that, we're now able to connect legacy handsets to Microsoft OCS. Which for us is a very big deal, and hopefully will be for the market. I had meetings with them at the beginning of the week, and we've still got to work out the go-to-market plan, and we're not quite ready for the product to be sold, but we're a long way along the way, and very happy to be able to announce that interoperability was completed, and we look forward to making further announcements about what will be available and when and why.
Okay, and we look forward to covering them.
Thank you very much.
Looking ahead to 2011, just before we wrap up, what's next for Citel?
Well, we've had a lot of different companies migrate over using our device, and there's an awful lot more out there who want to do it. And at this point, it's working with a lot of our resellers and getting some more authorized resellers in place who can work with the end users to give them what they need. So we're really trying to get our reseller program finalized and formalized so that we can help all the end users do what they need to do.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ian.
Thank you very much.
I've been speaking with Ian Gomm, VP of Sales and Marketing at Citel. This is Erin Harrison coming to you from the LA Convention Center at IT Expo West 2010.